Hello, this is Victoria Pendragon. Welcome to my alternate reality. I had an experience recently that I wanted to share with you. It involves a painting, not a painting that I did, but a painting that I commissioned back in probably about 2005. I commissioned it from a woman whose work I liked very much. She did beautiful landscapes. And she wanted some work from me, and I was open to trading her for a painting. I told her exactly what I wanted: rolling green hills, possibly with a pond. Very bucolic, very countryside-like. Well, I did the work for her, and many months later, almost a year later, she showed up with a painting of cliffs, stark black cliffs over the ocean at dawn. It was a very good painting. I had no issue with that, but it wasn't what I had wanted, and this was, after all, a trade, energy for energy. And I said to her, "This is not what I asked you for." And she told me that when she went to begin a painting that was what I had asked her for, that she received a message, that this is what she was to give me. I was irritated. It was very difficult to argue with someone like that when you're not, I guess, as confident as I am now. I wasn't then. And so I accepted the painting, and it was quite large. I hung it on my wall. When I divorced my husband and moved into my own apartment, I took it with me, and I hung it up in my new apartment. And the more I lived with it, the more I didn't like it. And so suddenly I thought to myself, wait a minute, this is my painting. I should like this. So since I took it, and after all didn't really have to, I will make it my own. I'm a painter. So I set about painting the rocks and trees, covering them with bushes and trees and flowers. And I even put me into the painting in a long white robe looking out at the ocean. So that was decent, and it kept me happy. I also signed the painting on the bottom under her name. And that kept me happy for a long time. And I came down here and I hung it in our bedroom when I moved to this place with my husband. And for some reason, in the beginning of November, I guess I was having some sort of an emotional streak. I have a tendency to move into melancholy every once in a while, especially if I'm in a transitional phase. And I'd had about 3 nights in a row of really rotten dreams. And I woke up one morning and I was like, I need to get that painting out of this room. It's not the painting I wanted, and I tried to fix it, but it's just not right, and I don't know what to do with it. And so that was that. I came in to do my morning yoga, as I do every morning, and all of a sudden, during yoga, I got this sense of being taken back through time. And I was with my daughter, and I was nursing her when she was an infant. And at that moment, I had a terrible sense of longing that I had not been able to provide my son with that kind of nurturing. I had gone into postpartum depression. I was really emotionally unavailable to him, and every other way unavailable to him as an infant. And I felt terrible. And I thought to myself, well, I'll set aside some healing time and just send him that nurturing through the ethers as I can. And when I finished up yoga and I'd had my breakfast, I went in and opened email, as I standardly do. And there was an email from my friend who lives out on the West Coast, and she is the friend I have known for the longest time. I have known her since we were about 14 or 15. And she said, I had to write to you because I had the strangest dream. I saw you with Alex when he was a little boy, and you were standing on these cliffs looking out at the ocean. And I was like, what's going on? This is just too strange. But in that moment of strangeness and connection that this woman obviously had with me and with my mental state from clear across the country, I thought, I know what I do with that painting. I'm not going to take that painting out of my bedroom. I'm going to use it as the healing that I was longing for not 15 minutes before with my son. And I painted him as a little boy into the painting with me. And it's felt fine ever since. It's impossible, I suppose, to know what sort of dynamic was going on at what level of being that wove that fabric of change, that brought up the need for healing and supplied the perfect vehicle for healing, all in very seemingly unrelated ways. It was a wonderful and truly satisfying experience. And as a kind of a PS, I emailed my son, who is living now in Europe, and he's never been one to maintain communication much. He's not very emotive either. He's not a huggy sort of person. And I wrote to him just with a few questions 2 days ago, 3 days ago. And I just said, hi, how are you? Are you still doing what you were doing? It's always good for me to be just ask him specific questions so he can give me specific answers. And he wrote back the first message I've ever received from him that had a genuine happiness about it. I felt it sort of creeping in a little bit since he moved to Europe. He'd always wanted to go. But this was like a real, genuine happiness. So it feels like I did my little piece to help him be happy. I hope I have. Life is truly amazing and truly wonderful. And I wish you such happenings. I wish you such magic in your life. Thank you for listening.